What up, what up, what up, football fans all over the world? It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan, here with my guy, the super dope co host, Adam Costas. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for the real deal NFC East Round-Up. Punch that. What is going on out there, everybody? This is welcome to another edition of the Real Deal NFC East Roundup. Myself, Mac the Giants fan, and my guy, the super dope co-host Adam Costas. Man, how you doing this afternoon, Adam?
I am good. I am good. Another week in the books. I can't believe we're going into week 7. This is insane how fast it is going, my friend.
Absolutely, the season definitely does cruise on by, man. But we're gonna get this thing right started. Just get right to it, man. Let's get right to it. 1 o'clock with the 1 o'clock games first. Start with the Eagles hosting the Cleveland Browns. Eagles coming off the bye, hosting the Cleveland Browns. I mean, look, they got the W, and that's all that actually matters. Like I always say, ain't no style points for the win. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean shit. It's all about the W and the L. They got the W here. There was only NFC's team to get a W this week, and it wasn't pretty by no means, but it was effective enough to get the win against the Cleveland Browns, and they completed the NFC East sweep of the Cleveland Browns this season. So, you got anything on what you got on this game, Adam?
Well, it's interesting that we talk about the Cleveland Browns because there was many people, well, not many, but a few people who mentioned the Cleveland Browns as a good win, a quality win. And when we explained to them that yes, while in July we thought, oh, the Browns would be better than they are. Well, when we met them, and just like when the Eagles met them, they're not that great. They got a lot of turmoil. Now, I'm not saying the Eagles. The game was definitely disgusting. I give you that. The Eagles did what they needed to do. They scraped by and they got a win. Right? You can't fault them for that. Was it pretty? No. We always talk about a W's a W. Doesn't matter how you get it. Right? And we knew that the Browns aren't going to lie down on that defensive side. And the Eagles were a little lackadaisical, I do believe, in certain spots where they just didn't hit the home run. They didn't get that punt or field goal that was blocked that kind of turned the momentum back when they were kind of dominating the game. That was a big play, and it's one of those things where you know if you're not careful, the teams can creep up on you. But at the end of the day, they hit their passes. They made a few plays that they needed to. They took advantage of a porous offensive line and handled their business. And I know it's not great, right? I don't want to poo-poo this was a great victory, but they didn't have the costly turnovers that killed them in many other games. They took some shots when normal teams may not take shots on 3rd and 12 and 3rd and 11 down the field. And their big players came through in the big time moments, right? And so while not pretty, a W is a dub. They did get banged up in this game, and I will give hats off to Cleveland. That defense played their hearts out. Their offense is absolutely garbage, but their defense played their hearts out, and their guys are not quitting out there. And that's what you'll see every week. Do I think the Browns are a good team? Absolutely not. Do I think the Eagles lucked out here? Yeah, they did, but they got to 3-2, and that's where they want to be, and that's above 500. And it's not about how you get there; it's about how you finish, right? Or how they come. It's just a W's a W. Add that to the W column.
I mean, yeah. I mean, pretty much sums it up. I mean, they got the job done. Like it wasn't pretty. And like we said, this is that we talk about the NFCs here, and this is it's been we're here at week 7 now, and it's just crazy the way this season has the revelations, so to speak, of this division. I mean, right now Washington's sitting at the top of the division, and you got the Eagles, come right up, right behind them, followed up with the Cowboys, and the Giants. What we know where the Giants are, but at the end of the day, this is just not what we expected to see. I mean, come all summer long, we were talking about this Eagle team, this Cowboy team, And these are teams that are in a bit of turmoil right now. It seems like just all both of these teams we thought were going to be dominant football teams in the NFC division, not just the NFCs, but the NFC conference as a whole.
Well,
And neither one of them are looking too intimidating right now at all to me. I mean, as a whole, like we'll be talking about the Giants Eagles game a little bit later on in the show, but like this is a team where during the summer, this team actually made me a little bit nervous. I felt, like I don't think we can have a shot against this team, and I definitely don't feel that way right now, given what I've seen through the first, portion of this season. Now, I want to say one thing for Jalen Hurts. I mean, he got his top guy back in the lineup, and we see what that paid dividends that did indeed
both
pay. I mean,
guys,
AJ
both
Brown coming
guys.
back, and the impact that had. I mean, Devontae Smith as well, but I mean, 6 catches for 116 yards and a big touchdown from AJ Brown. That's exactly what that guy's there for. He is that security blanket. I mean, Devontae Smith also nothing to sneeze at. I mean, he had 3 catches on the day with 64 yards and the other touchdown. So
Well,
yeah, I mean, getting his guys back definitely did make an impact. I mean, in this game for Jalen Hurts. So
and
it just goes to tell you, man. Go ahead, Adam.
I think you're right about the weapons. And if they don't have them, maybe they don't win this game against Cleveland. Who knows? We'll never know that, right? We'll never truly know. But what it does make them is potent again. And now they're going to have both guys in the lineup. I think the bye week came at a good time for them while they were struggling. Remember, they went in there and I forget who they lost to the week prior, or got beat by somebody, and they had an up and down year. And different guys have done different things for them, right? It was Barkley in the first 2 games, and now they won a game where these two guys are clicking, and maybe something is happening that we didn't consider with at least the Eagles, and maybe even the Cowboys a little bit. Maybe the turnover at the offensive coordinator position was starting to affect them a little bit, right? Because they say it takes a little while to get play calling, right, done and meshing. Sometimes it works out well, like in Washington, and sometimes it takes a little while to do things. And I think maybe I don't know if they found their groove. I'm not going to say that, but maybe it's taking them a little while. Maybe the bye week they got to shore up some things. And while it wasn't pretty, I saw more vertical passing than I've seen in the Eagles last couple Eagle games. I feel like once they incorporate the vertical passing game, they'll do a little bit more running with Jalen Hurst. And I think maybe if they can build off of this momentum, they can open it up more. And we'll see a little bit more that we saw in game one than we've seen these last couple weeks. I know Barkley had some troubles. We'll see how that goes. I'm just saying the passing game worked. Maybe next week the run game works. So as long as they play clean football like that and their defense gives them a fighting chance, they're going to be in a lot of these games. And you know how that goes in this mediocre NFC conference right now. That's why the Giant season is technically not over. Normally, if we were talking about this years ago, 2-4, you're out of it. But because the whole NFC is a muck right now, they'll have a chance. And games like this could separate you, right? Games like this could be the benefactor, winning against Cleveland and winning against these lesser opponents. I think that's how the Cowboys and Eagles are going to do it. They're not going to beat probably the Detroit Lions of the world, right? Who look like an absolute, great team. And they're not going to beat the 49ers of the world, but they can beat the Giants and the Carolina Panthers and feast on the guys within their kind of area of weight class right now, and they'll still somehow find a way to be in that wild card mix. So, again, I don't want to ramble on too much more about this game, but a huge win, I think, for them coming off a bye week. Because had they had lost, I think the narrative is totally different. I think the narrative is totally
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, they did lose Dallas Goddard in this one. Who knows how long he may be out? I think it was a hamstring, if I'm not mistaken. So you know how that can go, and we'll see what's going on with Dallas Goddard. Keep get more updates on him in the upcoming weeks. But yeah, that's all I got on this one. I only mentioned Dallas Goddard because, god damn it, if he didn't go down and he would have actually played, I might have won my fantasy game. But that shit hurt. That shit stung, man. He got a big old donut from Dallas Goddard because he got hurt so early in the game. I mean, I know it's not his fault, but hey, just it impacted my week in fantasy football. But next up on the slate in the 1 o'clock window, man, we had what many were calling the game of the week coming into the week 6, man. Washington Commanders taking on the Baltimore Ravens, battle of the Beltway. And, Washington ended up on the short end of the stick here. But what we once again saw from this Washington Commanders football team is they ain't going nowhere. They're not going anywhere. They are here. They are here to stay. They're in it to win it. And and even though they came up a little bit short this week against the Baltimore Ravens, they still impressed me as a whole because this football team is just showing you the impact that when you finally get that guy in your lineup, that guy that you can truly believe in, and that's what I think they found in Jaden Daniels. And I think I think the future is really bright for Jaden Daniels and his Washington Commanders football team. But what you got on this one, Adam?
Man, talk about the game of the week, like you said. Talk about stepping up and rising to the occasion. Did they win? No, but this is a team above their weight class that's going for a different purpose, and they rose to the occasion. Right? They didn't get blown out. Many people thought they'd get blown out. It was my upset pick. They lost by a touchdown, essentially, which is usually the norm in the NFL, and they didn't look like they didn't belong. That's what you needed to worry about, right? And if you're a Commander fan, listen, your second loss came to arguably one of the best teams, if not the best team in their conference, and you got beat by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are arguably the best team in their conference. So your two losses are not against scrubs. So I hate moral victories, as people say, but look at the competition you played, and you stepped up and risen to that occasion. And the next week they're playing the Panthers. Don't get a hot head about you. Glad that they lost this game, because when they go into next week, they know that they can go toe to toe. And Giant fans and everybody else, these aren't your typical Redskins that are under Dan Snyder. The ones that would lose every week, that would find a new excuse, a new way, of losing or drama or whatever. This is a new era. And like Max said, why do you think I banged the table for a quarterback? Why do you think I did that? Because look what Jaden Daniels' impact had. They had no expectations going into the season. None. All they wanted to do was what Mac usually says when a team gets a new regime: just look competent. Play competent football, right? That's what you want. You have a rookie quarterback. You're not expected to win many games. Well, now they're not only on the top of their division, but they've already matched their win total from last year. One win, and it's like playing with the lotto, like hitting the lotto for them, right? And then if let's say they go on and win the next game, now you can start to talk playoffs. Now you can start to talk what you're going to do next, especially with a lot of things that are brewing in the NFC East right now. See, the funniest part is Mac is saying that the Cowboys and the Eagles don't look threatening. Well, one team got the memo and one team didn't. The Washington Commanders got the memo. They said, hello. Well, if you're not going to take it, Giants, well, we are. We're gonna feast right now and steal the division away from these two powerhouses, and build. And if you look at it, that's exactly what's happening right now. They're stealing the baton and taking the torch. And like Mac said, like he said to you at week one's words from Mac, I don't know if you guys remember this Commander team will not give up. They will not give up. And ever since they played the Giants, it's been a springboard for their success. I don't know if it was beating their opponent that they hadn't beaten in many years, and that was kind of the catalyst of, hey, we ripped the Band-Aid off. We finally beat these guys. We can propel ourselves to the next level. I don't know, but we do see that getting a new regime in there, a competent offensive coordinator, and a quarterback that breathes life into your entire franchise. That's what you do. Because if you look at that Washington defense, what are they doing differently? They still have, Bobby Wagner. They just lost Jonathan Allen, but they don't have a household name of defensive players. They got rid of them to get draft capital. And yet those guys are playing their hearts out for that quarterback. Are they the most talented? No. Are they the best unit out there? No. But do they have enough talent to make a stop here? Yes. And when you have an offense that's humming like what Jaden Daniels is doing, look at Terry McLaurin, man. I've never seen that guy so happy in my life. Okay? That guy had a smile from ear to ear, even though they were losing, catching touchdowns left and right. because he finally's got a guy that can put Scary Terry where he belongs in the top 10 of receivers. It's a different environment. It's a different atmosphere. And I wish and I hope that one day in the near future, the Giants are going to get that atmosphere because right now, that's what he's doing. Look what CJ Stroud did. CJ Stroud, that Texans team wasn't even built to win. They weren't built for anything other than, not getting their cheeks clapped every week. And they were like, you know what? Let's just hold on. That kid came in, changed the culture, and away they went. Mind you, I'm going to land the plane here. Washington did the same thing. Took a chance. Kid is reinventing the franchise. Guess what? They have a lot of money next year that they can spend and fill out this roster. Meaning they could now fill out the defense and get players here and really start to build their program out because they have a guy under contract for a long time. They'll have the money to do it and they'll have the draft capital to do it.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I'm not going to get too deep into it, like you already said. I mean, into this game. I mean, for what it was actually it was the best of the NFC East games this weekend, for sure.
Right.
But definitely, I mean, they went blow for blow with the Baltimore Ravens, man. And I can't, I mean, this team is for real. They're not a fluke. They are for real. They got their guy Jaden Daniels, and they're just going to continue to build, man. Him and Terry McLaurin are absolutely cooking the last couple of weeks here. 2 more touchdowns for Scary Terry this week. I'm kind of salty. I traded him this offseason in fantasy in my dynasty league, man. I should have held on to him because I drafted Jaden Daniels. I could have had that bomb ass stack right there.
What is
I keep going back to
what? And you have Daniel Jones on your bench? Didn't you tell me that? And you didn't.
No, that's a different team. That's a different team. That's a different team.
Okay.
That's a different team.
All right.
But yeah, so yeah, I mean, this Washington team is still, even though coming off a tough loss on Sunday, this is an impressive football team, man. And you know what I mean. I got to give it to them. I didn't see this coming from the Washington Commanders. I thought they were going to be scrappy, but I really thought it was going to take a little bit more time for this unit to gel. And they just came in, and Jaden Daniels, they put that C on that young man's chest, and he came out there and he's leading these guys like a real vet, not a rookie. He looks like an absolute vet out there. So just props to the Washington Commanders and what they doing, man. Even though, like I said, coming off the tough loss, this team will find a way to probably bounce back, most likely, man, because they're legit, man. I don't see them going anywhere. They're going to be in the mix when we get into the dog days of this season, man. Back in December and January, this team's going to still be very much in the mix. What's going on, Mateo, man? Appreciate you stopping in. It's my cousin Mateo, man. He's definitely a long-time supporter of the Washington Commanders football team. So, you know what I mean? They looking good, cuz. They looking good. I gotta give it to them, man. But next up, man, we're going to move along to the 4 o'clock window where an NFC East team got absolutely annihilated at home. I'm talking about them Dallas Cowboys, you know what I mean, hosting the Detroit Lions on Sunday afternoon in Jerry's World, and it was not pretty for the Dallas Cowboys here, man. The Detroit Lions just jumped on them early and just took it to them, man, and Dallas never had a chance in this one, to be honest. They just never got out the gates, man. What you got, Adam, on this one?
Well, this is a game that the Lions circled on their calendar since last year when they lost the game to the Cowboys, right? And so this was a revenge game. They came out and put a shellacking on the Cowboys like I haven't seen in a long time. But this Lion team is the real deal. This is the real deal NFC East Round-Up. Well, guess what? The Lions are the real friggin' deal. Okay. Yes, sure, they have a loss on their record, but arguably it might be them and the Vikings, who knows, for the NFC Championship game. But they made a statement on Sunday and they kicked in the door and said, hey, listen, don't forget about us. Now, with the Cowboys, I kind of figured that this was a game they're going to lose. This doesn't fit the Cowboys' MO. And what I told you guys last week about Pittsburgh, styles make fights. Pittsburgh is a heavy-handed team. They have a small offense. There's a way they play. They are good enough to beat the bad teams, bad enough not to hang with the good teams right now, and it's because they're in transition. I believe it's also the bye week for them couldn't have come at a better time as well. It's a little disconcerting, but they're 3-3. Their season is still somewhat in the balance, and they can, I wouldn't say win games, but they'll be able to win some games against some lesser opponents. They play the Panthers, they could beat that team. They play a few other opponents that we talk about, the Eagles, the Giants, right? So there's some games in there for them to kind of get in that mix. Will they make the playoffs? I don't know, but they can still salvage something for this season. But again, styles make fights. The Lions offensive line, absolutely one of the best in the league. Their offense is cooking. Their quarterback is playing at the highest level I've ever seen. Their defense has played a lot better than we in recent years. They lost Aiden Hutchinson. We'll see how that what happens with that down the road. And if you want more about the Lions and what I think, Premium Takes is tomorrow. We'll go over this game and probably talk about our contenders and things like that. But the Cowboys have to find their identity this bye week. And I think what needs to happen, they have Dalvin Cook. Now, if Dalvin Cook is, to use the term that the kids are using, cooked, no pun intended, really, then you shouldn't sign him and get rid of him. Let him go try to find a team that will use him. If not, bring him in. He could be the difference in the game. The Cowboys need their run game to survive. Their defense cannot play against a well-oiled machine, against quarterbacks that are limited. Look at Justin Fields. The Cowboys play right into Justin Fields' game because that guy doesn't throw the ball deep. They can sit on routes. The offense is very basic. When you play the Lions and you have guys crossing, doing left and right, and you're not getting any pressure on the quarterback, that's what happens. So I'm not, the Cowboys look bad, but again, when you're a fan of a team in this division and you're constantly looking up at people, I'd rather be 500 than below 500. That's what the Cowboys are. Let's see what they can do coming off their bye week.
I mean, yeah, I don't under. Well, I don't. You said something about Dalvin Cook. I don't understand what the holdup is there at this point with this. I mean, this Cowboy off run game is absolutely disgusting. I mean, Dak Prescott. Honestly, Dak Prescott's out there still for the most part serving them up. You're getting what you see from Dak Prescott pretty much year to year. I mean, he's not really a different guy out there, but this run game, he has no run support whatsoever at all. I mean, it's just 17 carries, 53 yards on the day. Once again, I mean, I get it. This game kind of got away from them, and they kind of had to go away from the run a little bit. But at the end of the day, that's still just not going. That's just not going to get it done, man. I mean, you need somebody that can break something open. And even last year, I know Dalvin Cook didn't have the greatest of seasons a year ago, moving around from the Jets to the. I can't even remember where the hell he ended up at
He went to
last year.
Baltimore.
Oh, Baltimore. Yeah, that's right. But you still in flashes and small doses, you still saw a guy that was effective. You know what I mean? So I don't know what this Cowboy team is waiting on. Maybe they're going to unleash him after the bye week. Who knows at this point? But they need to do something. And I mean, they should hopefully with this bye week, this team that can get a little healthy defensively on the defensive side of football. As you know, Micah Parsons been out for the last couple of weeks. DeMarcus Lawrence. I mean, I don't know what the status of those guys' injuries are, but maybe after this bye week, maybe they can get those guys back, get a little healthier on the defensive side of the football. But like I just was talking about when we were talking about the Eagles, man, it's just something. It's just crazy. This whole season has been so wacky. I mean, this Cowboy team was expected to come out and be a heavy hitter in the NFC, man, and it's just it's anything but. I mean, this football team, they're lucky to be 3-3 right now. To be honest, I mean, they're very very lucky to be 3-3 because they could very well have another loss or two. But like Adam said, I mean, they're good. They're good enough to still beat the bad football teams. So they got a bye week and they got the 49ers, man. And obviously, they actually are hitting their pretty much probably the toughest part of stretch of their schedule as well, if I'm not mistaken. They got some really tough matchups coming up along the way. So I'll see. We'll see what this Dallas Cowboy team is all about, man. But I think it's I ain't really got much else to say about these cats right now, and I know we got a whole lot to say about these next motherfuckers that we about to talk about. I know we got a whole lot to say about these guys. So you might as well get right to it, man. Sunday night football, MetLife Stadium. The New York Giants hosting the Cincinnati Bengals, man.
1-4.
And this was not a the one. This was not a prime time worthy football game by no stretch of the imagination. This
Why do you think CBS didn't want to flex out Ravens Commanders, man? They got a good one, right? They weren't stupid. They were like, nope, sorry.
yeah, yeah, this was not a prime time worthy matchup here at all, man. This game ended up 17-7, and yeah, it was pretty much what 7-7 for a little while. And then you got 10-7 pretty much most of the way. Whatever it was, this
No,
this
it was
this game
10.
was fucking terrible.
It was 10-0 for a long time. 10-0 for a long time. I don't want to cut you off. Are you finished introducing it?
Yeah, I was gonna say, but
Oh,
yeah,
go
this
ahead.
game was absolutely terrible. I mean, once again, the New York Giants finding a way to lose. Like they do. I mean, this is once again this was a very winnable football game. This was a game that realistically there's only a difference was only a difference in a few plays literally in this game, like a few plays. But and it was you that sent this in our group text, Adam. I opened that link up and I saw like really just those 3 plays that Joe Burrow made. Just those 3 plays were the difference in the game. Those 3 simple plays. I mean, not simple plays, but you know what I mean. Those 3 plays is the difference in what a good quarterback can do and what a Daniel Jones can do. I mean, Daniel Jones, you just ain't it, man. You're not him, man. And I don't know what else to say about it, but it's just you leave too much out there, and just like it's not even you're not even like it's not how do I say it? Like you said you're just like the generic version of a quarterback. You know what I mean? We don't have a
Knock off
starting quarterback in
Listerine.
the NFL. Like Adam said, knock off Listerine. So look, I can say I can continue to talk. Right now, I'm gonna let Adam go ahead and say what he needs to say
Well,
because this is Go ahead.
apparently a lot of people think I'm owed some roses or something because, I came to the conclusion that Daniel Jones stinks. No, see, I was on the phone with somebody after the game, and a good friend of mine texted me because we were talking about quarterbacks and what's holding them back. And he's like, the difference in the game tonight was one team had Joe Burrow and the other team had Daniel Jones. And like Max said, you saw it. Like we talk about the 3 plays he made, right? Let's go over the first play that I thought was pretty interesting. Was Daniel Jones never would have done this. They have an overload blitz on the left side. An overload blitz on the left side. Joe Burrow looks at it. He adjusts the protection. He looks. He goes, okay. He knew exactly what he was doing. At that moment, he said, I'm going to take off and run. That's what he knew. He knew what he was doing. And as soon as they hit his back foot to pass, he took off and ran. And how he outran Jason Pinnock and all these other guys, when I saw Pinnock basically chase down a running back going for almost a touchdown, I think it might have been recently or I think it was, he chased down Brian Robinson of the Commanders, but he couldn't chase down Joe Burrow. And Joe Burrow, that's what a heady quarterback does. You get in the huddle, it's 3rd and 18, 3rd and 12, you're trying to run a play, and you see that, oh man, they're coming on an overload blitz. I might actually have this, and boom, 47 yards later, touchdown. That's elevation. That's what you do. You elevated your team. Then when they needed a score, they went down and moved the football again, got into field goal range, right? Then the biggest play of the game was they're down 3rd and 12. They put the ball in their quarterback's hand. He read the protection, rolled out, bought some time through a dot shot to his receiver, game essentially over. Okay? That's what you need to elevate. There's another play where he dodged Aziz Ojolari and was able to comprehend that I'm still on my feet and I can throw the ball out of bounds far enough outside the tackle spot where I didn't get intentional grounding. Those are heady plays. Those are plays that separate the men from the boys. And let's talk about the grand view of this thing, okay? You're the New York Giants. All I heard all week was how they have arrived. They beat the Seattle Seahawks. We're going to beat this Cincinnati team. They're the worst defense in football. They can't do this. They can't do that. And what did I say? I said, alas, my friend, The Bengals can find a way. They know. They hear all the press clippings. I said that they had a players only meeting. People laughed at me. Players only meeting. I said the Cowboys had a players only meeting on defense, and the Bengals had a players only meeting on defense. They both had their best defensive performances against the New York Giants. So I don't know, Eagles, maybe you should have a defensive performance before you play on Sunday because it seems to work for you. Okay, the Giants couldn't do anything on offense, and I'll tell you why. It's because their quarterback is trash. That's why. The Bengals weren't doing anything funky. They changed their coverages up. They read all the routes. They sat on them. You went for 4th and 2 twice. You didn't even throw it into the end zone. The one time you did, people were like, "Oh, that Daniel Jones throw. He was trying to throw it this way over the middle of Theo Johnson. That was a dumb play. Eat the hit." Sometimes you guys got to listen to the announcer. The announcer said it. He said Daniel Jones' first read was the running back. I don't know why he didn't throw the ball. That's what they're saying. This is not me making it up. This is not me trying to, push my vendetta or any of that. Right? None of that. This is him performing. All the stuff. Everything could have been pulled off his back. The monkey could have came off his back if they won that game. And just typical Giant fashion, they throw the ball to Darius Slayton on a slant route because they can't run any other fucking routes. He gets 52 yards and we get a fucking penalty. A penalty, which then drives us back and we don't do anything on that drive. Okay, the one drive we do have was a turnover that they gave us by Zach Moss because they were driving the football downfield and then they went down and scored. And they did. And they ran the football. And then it was nothing after that. Nothing after that. Daniel Jones still hasn't thrown a touchdown pass in prime time in God knows how long. God knows how long. Okay? And I don't want to take any moral victories, but the defense played their goddamn asses off for you. And that's the thanks they get.
They did.
They played their hearts out for
did.
you. They kept an offense that scored 38 points the previous week just to 10 points the entire friggin' three quarters. 10 points. And that's the effort you get from your franchise quarterback. If you can't see now why there is a problem with the Giants, even you can say the play calling is bad. Fine. Is the play calling bad when a receiver's running wide open and has to dive 5 yards for the ball because it's not on the mark? Is it his fault that the quarterback even said that he got rattled? Like, is that his fault? There's a rumor out there right now that he has some back issues. So maybe that flares its ugly head up. Who knows? This guy is cooked. But you hated me for 2 years, 3 years for saying it. This is the type of game a good quarterback wins. I'm just saying. It's
What's up, Wells?
The type of game a good quarterback won. And guess what? A good quarterback won it on the other side. An opponent dead to rights. Their season on the line. Over. Their defense played their absolute heart out. They played the game like the game was like the Super Bowl. That's how they played. But Daniel Jones couldn't take advantage of anything. And then Joe Burrow does. Joe Burrow said, you know what? Good night.
But the thing is, like you just said, like we were just talking about, it was literally mostly just those 3 plays that were difference-making plays in the game, and that's all it took. Because, like you just said, the defense did absolutely enough to win this football game. Absolutely enough to win this football game. By the way, tacking on 4 more sacks to add to their season high total. This defense did absolutely enough, more than enough to win this football game, and the offense once again failed this team. You get down in the red zone, or at least right outside the red zone, wherever. I can't remember if they were in the red zone, but we threw the Daniel Jones interception. Let's talk about how shitty that was, because you have Tyrone Tracy running wide open. All you gotta do is just throw the ball to him, and that guy can maybe make a play, make a guy miss, and hell, who knows? He might have gotten to the fucking end zone. He was wide open. You throw across your body back to the middle, towards the middle of the field, where bad things happen. You are a 6-year veteran in this league, and you're still doing things like that. You're taking points off the board. And who knows? The kicker had a terrible night anyway. He might have missed a field goal if we had to settle for a field goal down there as well, because he missed 2 other field goals any damn way. So who knows? It was just one of those kind of nights, obviously, for everything offensively for the New York Giants. But the point is, you had ample opportunities in this football game to do something and make a difference. And like Adam said, never at any point in time did you truly make a difference. Sure, you led the team in rushing with 56 yards on the ground on your 11 carries, and you had some couple tough runs but you're the quarterback. Stop trying to run over linebackers. It's ridiculous, dude. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't get it when we sit and watch Daniel Jones. I just can't understand it. I can't understand it anymore. Like, why he's still doing the same crazy things, the same mistakes. It's the same mistakes. It's not an improvement from that aspect. And this is what and it's bothering me, and I'm taking it personal as a fan, because as a fan, this guy is responsible right now for causing the fans to be divided. Like, it's like a civil war between the fans of this team now. You got the Daniel Jones lovers you got the Daniel Jones haters, and it's absolutely crazy. Social media New York Giants social media pages are absolutely that's comic relief. Some of the shit you see on New York Giants social media pages, it's absolute comic relief. I don't understand how this franchise could sink this low, and most of it has to do with number 8. Most of this it's at the point where, as New York Giant fans, don't even like each other. We can't even get along with each other anymore. The one common bond we all used to have was the love for this football team, and it's just a divide right now. And it's Daniel Jones is the cause of this divide. It's crazy to me.
Disgusting, actually. It's interesting you brought up Daniel Jones, because if you look at the 4 losses we had, he has a big hand in 3 of our losses, right? I can't blame him technically for the Commanders' loss, because that was just Brian Dable being stupid. But he couldn't rise above the X's and O's and hit deep balls against the Cowboys, right? He had a horrible game against Minnesota at home, and then this game, right for the picking, to get your team to 500 and be back in the mix and talking about a promising season, he comes up lame. 3 out of the 4 losses. Think about that. Just think about what I just said. When we've lost the games, we've thrown 40 times against the Cowboys, against the Bengals, and against the Minnesota Vikings. And at home, he plays atrocious. I don't know what it is. Maybe he doesn't like living in New York. Maybe he can't take it. Maybe being on the road, he doesn't have as many people bothering him. I have no idea. But the Daniel Jones on the road is a different Daniel Jones, and that's why I think he needs to go. Because maybe if he leaves, he'll actually look like a functioning quarterback, because he doesn't look like one in New York. Like Max said, good quarterbacks win this game. Eli Manning does not lose to this 1-4 Bengal team, even though they have Joe Burrow on the other side. He does not waste that effort. He doesn't. And here's the thing. This was circling around social media. The Giants benched Eli fucking Manning for Geno Smith, and we can't bench this guy. Just let that sink in. We benched the greatest of all time.
I'll take it a step further real quick, because I think Tyrod Taylor would have won this football game if he still been on this roster. Yes. I think he would have won this football game.
Yes, he would have.
I'm not even convinced that Tommy DeVito couldn't have won this football game, to be quite frank. I'll take it even there. Maybe even he could have won this football game.
Wow. Well,
for real.
That's terrible then, man. See, I wanted to put a legend down, because my point was we could bench a guy and move on from Eli Manning, the greatest quarterback in the Giant history. But this guy, we have the traipse out there every week, who is having a degenerative back issue, who can't hit the far side of a barn, okay, on deep routes, doesn't come up in big games when we need him, right? And I'm supposed to believe that this team has a fighting chance. The defense is fracturing. They are getting angry, although they don't cause many turnovers, but they're doing their best. If this team had a quarterback right now, we'd be up there with Jaden Daniels right now, talking about winning the division, fighting for a playoff spot. Arguably, we would all be doing our shit talking trash, because we would have our quarterback and we'd have a fucking defense. We've got only one of those.
Yeah,
and we're wasting.
His defense might not cause a lot of turnovers. They might not be causing the turnovers, but they get the fuck off the field. They get off the field.
I'm not complaining about that.
I know I know what you said, but I'm just saying, like, even looking at this game here, we go that first time we went forward on 4th down in this game, and which I really questioned that time anyway when we went for the first time and we didn't get it, came up short. What did the
Oh
defense
yeah,
do a couple of plays later? Took that ball right back. That's
right.
that's what I mean. This defense is our this New York Giant defense is for real and can be for real. But what like you just said, it's sooner or later they're going to get frustrated. I mean,
Well, think
it's just how it is. It just trickles down. They know and they just completely lose all confidence in this offense to make a damn play to put points on the board. Pretty soon they're just going to say what our efforts for. You know what I mean? And we know how infectious that shit can be. This
well,
offense right now is a problem, and it doesn't have to be that kind of problem. And I don't want to hear about Malik Neighbors wasn't there and Devin Singletary wasn't there. I don't want to hear that shit.
no,
They went out there. They didn't have those guys against Seattle either.
and one
Okay,
exactly,
and what they
exactly.
do out there. So I don't want to hear about who wasn't there on Sunday night. I'm talking about who was out there, and the offense wasn't making enough plays. And by the way, when did Andrew Thomas get hurt in this football game? Because I felt like he played the whole entire
He
football
got
game,
he got
and now he's
he
out for
got
the season.
he got injured early on. You saw him limping. That's why he gave up a couple sacks. And there goes the Giants again. Guys injured. You don't have anybody better, and you let him go out there. And now he's out for the year. And a lot of people are saying the season's over. I do believe this is going to hurt us more than people think. I really do. Because one, Evan Neal, who I don't know why is not playing, but hey, you know what? I'm not the coach. He's not playing. You have Josh Azudu, who's absolute trash. He's going to come out there. And the next two defenses that you play, Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, they're going to eat. They're going to eat. They're going to look at you and be like, oh, crap, right? I know that the Eagles have a problem as well on the offensive line, but they seem to figure it out. You know what their options are? Their options are put their incumbent second tackle out there, who's been okay, or move Mekhi Becton out there and put their guard in there. If I were them, I'd put Mekhi Becton out there and put their stellar guard in there, and bingo bango. What do we have? We have two incompetents. We have Josh Azudu, who nobody likes, and we have Evan Neal, who's in the doghouse right now, who they still want to run out there as a right tackle.
What's going on, Logan?
Oh,
Thanks for popping in, man. What's up, Mosley?
I just can't
But
stand it anymore.
yeah, I just can't do it, man. And yeah, Andrew Thomas out for the season. Kayvon's gonna be out for probably at least another month. This football team, man, whatever, man. I mean, I will say Tyler Newman once again. I just keep bringing the young man up. He keeps getting better and better, showing me a lot more each and every week, man. Looking like, if nothing else, this draft class is looking pretty solid. If nothing else,
Well,
I will say that. Now I think we get a guy at quarterback that can actually make plays with
think about this.
some form of consistency, and I think this team could possibly, start making a little bit of noise.
Think about
But
this.
what you got,
Okay,
Adam?
Drake May threw 3 touchdown passes. He had 3 touchdown passes. Spencer Rattler had touchdown passes. Bo Nix had touchdown passes. Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels looked like superstars. And who do we traipse out there? We traipse out there Forrest Gump of quarterbacks in Daniel Jones, who can't win a damn game, who doesn't understand the dynamics of things. You need to rise to the occasion. I don't want to hear excuses if this doesn't work out. You're a $140 million quarterback. You need to work on if Josh Azuna's out there and he's the weak link on the line and it makes you get some sacks and that's why you're skittish and you don't throw the ball that well and it's compromised, well, that's where you need to figure it out. Because guess what? Jaden Daniels' line, all I heard was how bad it was. Joe Burrow overcame our relentless pass rush to make plays when he needed to. This is what you paid him for. If you can't go out and elevate your team on a night like this against a 1-4 football team, you wasted the Seattle win. You wasted the Seattle win because you couldn't figure out how to overcome. And the test was laid out for you. It wasn't like the offensive line was having that much leaks, right? They had 2 sacks given up by Trey Hendricks, who, by the way, is their best defensive player. Okay? 2 sacks. And yet you couldn't do anything. Now, the run game, you tried, you drudged it up. It didn't do anything for you because sometimes your quarterback has to be the guy. You look around the league, Mac. Look around the league. Guys are making plays, elevating their teams all over. We were talking about Jordan Love, right? They brought in a competent backup in Malik Willis and still was able to function and win games against lesser teams to keep their season alive. We have a backup playing as a starter. We can't even do that. We can't even do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just pretty ridiculous at this point, man. Look, the future, there is no future in New York for Daniel Jones. I'm sorry. There's no future. No future whatsoever, man. That shit's over with. Okay? Like all you people that are still slobbing over this guy and making a bazillion excuses up for what this, that, and the other, and it was this and it was that and it was this. Oh no, it was that because that person did this. No, it's because he's not that good.
Welcome to the
Okay?
island.
It's not that good. I'm watching all the rookies. Every rookie quarterback that I've seen out there this season looks more competent than our 6-year vet. Every single one of them, including Spencer Rattler down in New Orleans on Sunday. Yeah, he got the L as well, but you can see that they might have been on to something. They might have found their future in a 5th-round draft pick. So, look, it's just ridiculous to me. But let's get ready to move it along, man. Let's go look into Week 7, man. We only got 2 games to look into for this one. And this week, as the Dallas Cowboys are on a bye, we'll start with the Washington Commanders.
that no one should be threatening your life over football, but that is kind of funny. Get off DJ's meat.
I'm not even. Yeah, let's look. We'll start Washington Commanders looking to rebound and what is going to be a very, very winnable football game for them as they're hosting the Carolina Panthers on Sunday. I already kind of know where you're going here, Adam, but what you got, man? How you see this one shaping up?
I'm going with the Carolina Panthers. No, I'm just kidding. I just wanted to throw you off there. No, I'm going to go with the hot hand and Jaden Daniels. I think they're going to have a bounce back game. I don't know if they're going to. I don't want to say dominate this game. I don't want to say that, but what I will say is I think they're going to handle business. A game against the Ravens for a team like Washington, you don't look at it as like a loss. You look at it like, okay, what do we have to do to get to that level, right? And right now, win this next game, and you move on to that next level. Because 1, you'll check the box of winning more games than you had last year. 2, you'll get one step closer to winning the division and getting to the playoffs. These are the teams, if we want to take Commanders for real, they got to win, right? And the Panthers aren't, with Andy Dalton, they've been a little bit better. They haven't been great, but this is a team I think I'm going with Washington. And I'm going for the reasons we talked about. Jaden Daniels, they've got a strong run game. There are 2 running backs. We don't even talk about that because the rookie quarterback's been so spectacular. But they have a solid run game with Austin Eckler. Brian Robinson's Mac's guy. Mac's been, riding with Brian Robinson for a long time and telling you guys how good he was. Well, guess what? He's the straw that stirs the drink. And can you put some respect on Terry McLaurin's name, please? Because I feel like nobody is giving this guy any respect in the league. He's all he's doing is dominate with this young kid and going about it, not dancing, not doing all the gyrations that everybody else does, and all he does is produce. So I want to go out and see the Commanders do some things, and let's see what their defense can do against Andy Dalton. I think the Washington Redskins are going to make this, like a 27-20 type of game, 27-17 type game.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't even think there's much to talk about here, really. Honestly, I think you talking about coming off that, that tough loss for the Washington Commanders against Baltimore. Talk about a get-right game. This is a get-right game. It's going to be a long day. What's going on, Alex, man? Thanks for stopping in, bro. I really appreciate it, man. It's talking about it's going to be a long afternoon for the Carolina Panthers, man. I think Jaden Daniels is going to throw the ball over the yard on this Carolina Panther defense. I think they're just going to have their way with them, man. I think I can see Washington just throwing up 40, just because they want to get just to right this shit, man.
And you know what, Mac? If they drop 40, I'm gonna think of. I can't. I wish you were closer because I dropped Mad Elves off at your house if they scored 40, but you're not. But I will be thinking of you if they score 40 points. Because I'm trying to get. I'm trying to be realistic. Maybe they come back down to earth a little bit. They're not as. They're not as dominant, but you could be right, man. They could blow the doors off Carolina, who is in influx right now, as a matter of fact. But again, this is a team that they need to win. If they win this game and they do it in dominating fashion, maybe we need to start to look at the Commanders a different way. I'm starting to right now, but I don't want to get too overhyped. I'm enjoying as a non-Commander fan, as a football guy, just watching football, trying to enjoy the game itself, right? And putting my hatred aside for teams. Because at the end of the day, sometimes you just want to watch football and enjoy things. Watching the Commanders mature and how fast they're coming along, if they win this game on Sunday in a handling manner, we got to start to think about them up there with the Lions, the Vikings, these teams. I know that maybe sound ridiculous, but why not? I mean, if they're scoring 40 points against lesser opponents and going toe to toe with teams like the Ravens, who are a pretty good team, say what you want about the Ravens and how their defense is played. I think the Ravens are a pretty good football team. We might have to take the Commanders seriously. So,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I Carolina 1-5. They got that one win. Andy Dalton came out, had that huge game, but I mean, it's been better than it was with Bryce Young, but there's no chance in hell. Washington Commanders definitely get right in this game here,
not,
and they're gonna roll. They will absolutely roll against the Carolina
not
Panthers,
I'm
man.
not saying they're going to beat the Lions. I'm saying we're going to have to respect them as one of the top teams in the conference, right? And anything can happen. I mean, Jaden Daniels is the type of quarterback that if you get a couple turnovers for let's say Washington Commanders, he could change the game for you. And it makes it an equalizer out there. And especially if you have a great running game, the best thing that a young quarterback can have is a great run game. And we don't, like I said, we don't talk about Austin Eckler, but he's good out of the backfield. Brian Robinson's good out of the backfield. Their offensive line has played pretty good football. I mean, we're going to have to take them as what their record is. Their record, if they win this game, they're going to be 5-2.
Look, I agree with you. You already know how I feel about the Washington Commanders. Look, this team is to be respected. They've commanded the whole entire league's respect, and I think they've earned the league's respect. This team they're going to give you their best shot every week, and Jaden Daniels is going to go down swinging each and every week. I mean, this kid looks like a veteran quarterback. He does not look like a rookie by any stretch of the imagination. He looks like he's been here before. He looks like he's been around the block in the NFL. I mean, this guy, he's a pro, man. He's a pro, and he's showing you the difference when you get that guy in there. He's showing you what the impact a franchise quarterback can do for a football team. He's showing you what that's all about right now. And I wouldn't be surprised when it's all said and done if Washington is the one coming out of this division representing the NFC East in the postseason. That just wouldn't shock me one bit because right now they are by far playing the best football in the division, and it's not, to me, that's not even up for debate. It's not even close at this point. So this Washington Commander team, man, just get ready to roll, man. Like I said, I expected this kind of effort from them later on in the year. I thought they were going to take, the first half of the season or so, getting their feet wet a little bit and go through the growing pains. But Jaden Daniels came out firing right from week one, straight from the door, and they're off and running, man. And you see the impact. Like I said, the impact when you get that right guy in there. I mean, look around the league at all the rookie quarterbacks. I mean, yeah, there's some up there having their struggles in some areas. I mean, but for the most part, these guys are winners, and you can see it. You can see these guys are winners. And I wish the Giants would have got in on some of that back in April. I just wish they would have, based off of what we're seeing right now. This quarterback class definitely looks like it was as advertised. And we missed out on that completely. But let's get to the Giants anyway. Giants, Eagles. at MetLife Stadium. Saquon Barkley making his return to MetLife Stadium, this time wearing the Philadelphia Eagles uniform on his back. Adam, what you got, man?
I think this is going to be a hard fought game on both sides. There's a lot of emotion that's going to be going into this game. Unfortunately for the Giants, I feel that I was going to pick them to win, but with the injury to AT, I don't know how that's going to affect them. Plus, I know Dexter Lawrence and Brian Burns, while they said they're good to go, they're a little banged up, and that tends to affect you. So there could be a lot here. I'm not. I know the Eagles play horribly, but this is going to be a game for Barkley that are going to come back, and I'm gonna reluctantly pick the Giants, but it doesn't really matter. I think their season's over, but the Eagles are going to come in and they're going to try to end your season. Will you be able to rise to the occasion? Barkley, it's going to be a big day for. They're going to try to have him have a big day, and you know that's going to come with all the speculation, all the drama from Hard Knocks in July, him going there with the fans. This game is this is the game because in January we have no idea what's going to happen in January, right? This is the only time you're going to meet in the meat of the regular season, not at the end of the year where you could either rest players or there may not be anything on the line, or maybe they will be, but that's in January. We're here now, right? And right now, that Eagle team did what they had to do against Cleveland. Is not going that far down the block, and they're going to come in and try to build off that defensive performance. Giants have got to figure out a way to throw the ball downfield because I'm telling you right now, the Eagles will. The Eagles will throw the ball downfield, and if they hit a couple of those, that could be the difference in the ball game, especially in a close ball game where these teams are both putrid. They have a decent kicker. Our kicker is not that good, right? Greg Joseph is not a good outdoor kicker. Great indoor kicker. His numbers are 88% indoors. His numbers outside are like 81%. So, and Jake Elliott can kick from a mile away. Just know that you're going to have to throw the ball downfield. It's good to have Malik Neighbors, but we're going to need to open it up. You can't have average depth of target of 5 yards. You just can't have that and win games. You can't have the Daniel Jones that showed up against the Bengals. Because if that's the guy, and if there's a rumor that's been said that somebody says that his back is a little worse than he's letting on, if that's the case, and he's running over people and doing these things, and he gets rattled because his left tackle is getting him hit, that could be the difference in the ball game. So defensively, I think just keep the big plays to a minimum. Right, this team is they're gonna get big plays. That's what's gonna happen. They have a decent offensive line. They max protect a lot, and they have two of the best skill position players in the game, in Devontae Smith and AJ Brown. And how they did against T. Higgins, you can expect some stuff like that. Make sure you tackle, make sure you wrap up, make sure you give only field goals up because you can win this. If you keep this game close like you did against Cincinnati, you'll have a chance. That's all you want to do. And that's how I look at it. The Giants aren't a great offense. So you're going to have to figure out a way to get your playmakers involved, whether that's end arounds, whether that's screenplays. But if the Giants come out and play a similar set, and we'll know in the first kind of quarter or so what they're playing. If they come out and play the same way they played against Cincinnati, they're not winning the football game. It doesn't matter how good their defense is going to play. It'll take a couple plays that Jalen Hurts tends to make every once in a while. As much as he's much maligned, he did it against Green Bay, big down the field when they needed to score. He went down, ding against Atlanta, and when they needed a score, he got them a score. When they needed a score this week, they went down and got a score. Okay, some of the other games they've been blown out in. Yes, he didn't play well in I forget what game that against Tampa Bay, but Tampa Bay is arguably the best team in the conference. And then the other game they lost was to Atlanta in a heartbreaker, right? So they could easily have won that game if there wasn't a fumble here, interception there. So they could easily be 4-1 right now in this game. The only blowout they had was Tampa Bay. So this team can score. They might have gotten their groove back a little bit with their guys. Don't let them hit big plays. You have to keep it close.
Yeah, I think this. I was ready to pick the Giants here, honestly, but the Andrew Thomas injury really, adds something, a different layer to this football game. Yeah, it's great to get Malik Neighbors back, but given Daniel Jones' history we all know how he does not play well when facing in the teeth of pressure. And we don't know right now. We're still not even getting really a straight answer to who exactly is going to be over there at left tackle, man. I mean, we know that Joshua Zuda was very responsible for ending Daniel Jones' season a year ago. I mean, and that thought of that guy being at left tackle just scares the hell out of me. Evan Neal, whew,
It's not much better.
that right there, that's kind of scary thought as well. I mean, given what we've seen from him so far throughout his young career, and yeah, so it's just it's a lot for me to take in. I think the only real chance now the Giants do have in this game is that defense, like Miz is talking about. I think the New York Giants defense has stepped it up so much over the course of these last couple of weeks, man, that it's going to take a Herculean effort. They're going to have to definitely keep Barkley in check, for sure. They're going to have to keep Mr. Saquon Barkley in check, and like Adam said, you can't let him open up, and you can't let him hit anything big down the field, man. The pressure's got to get to Jalen Hurts. You get the pressure on Jalen Hurts, you can force him to make some mistakes. He's been doing that pretty much this season thus far, throughout this season thus far. So I think that's going to be the key to this game if the New York Giants have any real chance, because I think offensively we're going to get more of the same as what we saw Sunday night in Cincinnati, and that's not very much offense. I think you're just going to see this football team kind of, spinning their wheels offensively a little bit against what's looked like thus far a very mediocre Eagle defense. But at the end of the day, the Giants just have not shown an ability to put points on the board, man. They just not consistently. I mean, other than that Seattle game, they just haven't shown the ability to do it. It just is what it is. I mean, settling for way too many field goals when you're getting down in the red zone, and that's just not good enough to beat a team as dynamic as the Eagles are offensively. As we know what the difference A.J. Brown does for that football team, like when he came just getting back on the field this week and the impact that he had. I mean, that's going to be a real problem for that young secondary of the New York Giants. I know they've been playing a little bit better, and they've been playing probably a little better than a lot of people expected, but at the end of the day, that's going to still a tough ask to slow down A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. So I think it's just going to take that up front. They're going to have to get the pressure on Jalen Hurts and really truly try to force some bad throws, force some mistakes, because otherwise I don't think they have much of a chance here, because you obviously cannot depend on this offense. You just cannot. It's nothing this offense has shown you at any point in this season that makes them look even a little bit dependable. It's going to take the defense to have to win this football game, but I think it's going to be a little too much this week, and I think the Eagles get them, unfortunately, and I think the Andrew Thomas injury is probably my biggest factor in that.
Wow. Well, I don't disagree with you. I mean, especially with Daniel Jones' history. Think about this. If you're Daniel Jones and you suck, and you know that Andrew Thomas is your best offensive lineman, he's been your rock there. And Josh Azudu, who's the guy who got you crushed in Miami and hurt your neck, is now going to be your left tackle. And Evan Neal, who can't get out of his own way, is your left tackle. You're going to probably be a little bit more skittish, and the ball may come out a little quicker. And if the Giants are playing that same stupid kind of offense that they played against Cincinnati, they've got some DBs over here that might jump some routes that can maybe pick the ball off, right? And then next thing you know, a couple turnovers later, and that defensive effort that you got goes for naught. Because again, any turnover, the Eagles don't have to win the game by scoring 20 points. They could kick field goals, win the game. Their kicker is better, right? I don't know, because the thing is this: everyone who tells me the Eagles defense is bad, well, guess what? I've heard the Cowboys defense is bad, the Cincinnati Bengals defense has been bad, and now the Eagles defense has been bad, and all they've done is shit on the Giants offense every time we talk about it. So I'm just saying, is it me? It's not me. I've heard 3 weeks in a row. And then all the good defenses that we faced, only really one has been Minnesota. We were terrible against. We weren't great against the Browns either. The second half, they shut us out basically in the second half of that game. And then against Seattle, they just seemed like they were sleepwalking out there. but we didn't. We respected their defense. But the last games, we said, "Oh, Cowboys, they gave up 400 yards to the Ravens. We're going to run all over them." They came in and clapped our ass. All I heard was, the Bengals defense is horrible. They've given up 38 points to the Ravens. Guess what? Let's not play the Ravens anymore, because every time somebody plays the Ravens and plays us, they kick our ass. And we always say, "Oh, they're the worst defense." The Eagles' defense is just good enough where they can kick our ass. Okay? So don't fucking let them. Make your plays. Change it up. I know that you will be compromised with Andrew Thomas out there. That is going to be a factor. It's going to be a big factor. As a matter of fact, it may be what Vic Fangio looks at and said, "Okay, let's go see what this turnstile does." And maybe he starts to bring more pressure from that side because he knows the guy over there is a new lineman. The Eagles suck. They do suck. But we suck too. Like, everybody who tells me the Eagles suck, how can you tell me the Eagles suck and then look at our record and tell me that we're better than them? Like, seriously, everyone who's told me Cowboys defenses suck, we beat them. The Cowboys still suck. They're better than us. Okay? And the Eagles are a better record than us. They sucked, right? What are we talking about here? They've kept teams in check. They hung with the fucking Falcons. The only team they got blown out by was what team? One team they got blown out by. There's not a difference. There's not a difference. You want there to be a difference because you want to believe that there's a season left and that the Giants have something. That's what you want to believe. If the Giants get railroaded this weekend, what are you going to tell me against Pittsburgh? It's not the same, okay? It's the same shit. Every week you tell me that they're bad. There is not a difference, man. What's the difference? Do tell me what the difference is. The Cowboys defense sucked. They couldn't stop a nosebleed. You told me we were going to run. People told me we were going to run all over them. The Cincinnati Bengals couldn't stop a nosebleed. We thought they were going to run all over them. Now you're telling me that with this ineptitude of offense, I'm supposed to believe that they're going to go out and railroad the Eagles? I'm just saying. Mac doesn't think they're going to win. I at least picked the Giants, and you're trying to tell me there's a fucking difference? Give me a break. Oh, there's a season. Give me a break. You told me that last week.
Look, I get it, and I get the passion, but this is what I was talking about earlier. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Once upon a time, man, being a Giant fan, it was like we was like a little, a little secret society, a little family. You know what I mean? It was all nice and cozy and warm, even through some of the bad times. But now this is like just absolutely so shitty that, like I said, we fight amongst each other now. We can't get along, and it's because we got this guy that has just put this dark cloud over the franchise now, and it's just ripped the goddamn fan base apart. This is absolutely crazy and mind blowing to me, man.
I'm not misunderstanding
that
you.
that we've allowed this guy to absolutely just tear this fan base apart, man. This is crazy. This is what being a Giant fan is now in 2024, present day. This ain't what it was all about before, man. We used to all get along back in the day. Now this is just crazy to me. We're not fighting with Eagle fans. We're fighting with each other. Like, that's just fucking crazy to me.
You just said we would have a season if they win, right? So if they don't have a season, we said that. Then they beat the Browns. We said that, and then they beat the Seattle Seahawks. Okay, what did we say? This team has played badly at home. They're 0-3 at home, and this team is coming in and saying that we're better. What makes you believe that we're better? Because we beat Seattle? I mean, what are we talking about? If Parcells was here, you know what he would say? You are what your record says you are. And right now, they're better than us. That's what their record says. Whether we want to believe that shit or not. You can tell me the Eagles suck and put your fan hat on. I don't give a shit. I'm just telling you like it is. With this offense and the performance.
Now, look, no, fuck that. He's not wrong to say the Eagles suck. The Eagles have been a disappointment this year overall.
Right.
I mean, yeah, their record is whatever 3-2. They've been a disappointment. But the point is, they've also done something the New York Giants haven't been able to do, and it's been sometimes in certain moments of games when they need to make a play, they make those plays. I mean, that's what they did on Sunday. It was ugly, but they got the job done because when they needed to make a play, they made those plays. plays that made a difference in the football game, a difference between them winning and difference between them losing. And we don't have that in New York right now. We just don't. And yeah, I get it. It's the quarterback. But right now, he's the quarterback that's here. So he's the quarterback that's on the team. Therefore, it's a wash. With that guy here, the Giants are going nowhere. Nowhere. I'm sorry. I got to rip the Band-Aid all the way off. With that guy here, the New York Giants are going nowhere. That's it.
I
don't know who can't let that register and sink in. It's not happening with him at the quarterback position in New York. It's not going to happen for the Giants.
And I think what I'm coming at is a matchup standpoint, right? We how many times have I heard this guy sucks, this team sucks? Yeah, sure, the Cowboys suck. They're not the Cowboys, but they beat us the week before they got railroaded, right? The week before this season. I'm not saying the Eagles are going to dominate us, but I'm to sit here and act like that we're better than them, like they suck. Yeah, they're not playing up to the standard that we thought they're going to be playing up to. But they could easily beat us. Hell, they could easily make it a railroad session too. They have banged up. They're banged up on both sides of the ball as well. But their options are better than our options. When I look at the fact that Dexter Lawrence is a bit banged up, right? And I look what they did to that defense in that line last week. They were in the backfield, and what B.J. Hill did to this offensive line, and what Sheldon Rankins did to this offensive line. You know, what are they going to do? Where did I say we're better than the Eagles? You just said the Eagles sucked, Miz. So I'm trying to tell you that while they suck, I'm not going out there puffing my chest as a Giant fan. I'm hoping they're winning. I'm picking them to win because they're going to do something dumb like that. That's what the Giants do when they probably should lose to get to the right positioning and play players. But Brian Dable's going to coach for his job. If Daniel Jones has any injury to his neck or is compromised in any way or is hindering the offense, we're not going to win. And last week's game wasn't against a team that was that great. Offensively, they had the same kind of skill position players that the Bengals have. They have two good receivers, and they have a decent quarterback and a good offensive line that can beat them. And they have a great kicker. I understand the standard, but the standard is what it is. I'm not looking at the standard. I'm looking at the game in front of me. People told me the Browns are going to be good, and they fucking look like dog shit. Okay? We thought the Browns were going to be good, and they're a dog shit. I understand it. But we're dog shit, too. Just because we beat Seattle and beat a fucking shitty Browns team, I'm not going to just go out here and say, oh, we're going to go dominate the Eagles now. Not with the offense who can't even score fucking 10 points. We regressed. We scored 23 in Seattle and 7 at home.
7 fucking points.
7.
And
the same crew.
Missed 2 field goals, so that's what 6 more points that we should have had for sure. Who knows that interception? The interception Daniel Jones threw, we were in at least field goal range, so that could have been at least another field goal at the very least. Or like I said, if he would have actually looked and threw the fucking ball to Tyrone Tracy, who knows? Might have been a goddamn touchdown on that. Like I said right there, that's the difference between. I can't. I'm not talking about this guy.
One more stat. One more stat that may alarm you. Okay, the Eagles score 20 points a game. The defense gives up 20 points a game. The Giants can barely score 20 points a game. So something's got to give, right? So if they get in the field, if we get into a field goal battle, and to take one touchdown, they have big play guys all over the field. Jalen Hurts, whether you like him or not, hit some dimers last week down the field. We talk about our quarterback throwing the ball down the field. That's what this guy did. Gives his guy a chance. He put it. It looked like he just velcroed it to AJ Brown's chest. That's how good it was. If we give up a couple of those plays and they get into field goal range and we are inept on offense and our quarterback is missing wide open guys left and right and we're punting the ball or giving them short fields and they're kicking field goal, it's going to be a long day at the office. This offense is bad and it starts with the quarterback. And the problem is that you can't turn anybody behind you because you don't believe in Drew Lock. Nobody wants to believe in Drew Lock, right? This guy could possibly get injured, people. Like, I don't get it. That's what I'm saying. Like, we score 15 points a game last year. We're up to like 15.5 points a game this year. We don't score points. So now we need to help this defense out by scoring. This defense is not going to be able to just do this without. They're not like Wake Martindale. They get a lot of sacks, they kick you off the field, but they don't get a lot of turnovers. And then you can't squander the turnovers that they do get you because they don't come like they did with Wake Martindale. Wake Martindale, we got turnover after turnover after turnover for 2 seasons, even when our defense was weak. Oh, and by the way, here's another thing that I didn't factor in that somebody mentioned. Vic Fangio was on the Miami Dolphins last year as their quarterback, as their head coach, defensive coordinator. He's on the Eagles now. He knows how to defend this offense. It's not like it's going to be anything new to him. Okay, so if there's some familiarity and some struggles out there, it'll probably be just because of talent relations. But that Eagle defense plays hard. Go watch their sound bites. They're talking shit. They're giving their hearts out. Okay, and we couldn't stop B.J. Hill and Sheldon Rankins last night from wrecking the game. And what makes me think that Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis don't do the same?
Oh, thanks for stopping in, Raphael. Appreciate you stopping in, man. If you're new to the channel, man, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button for me, brother. Really, definitely, greatly appreciate it. But yeah, we see. Yeah, I mean, obviously, we see what his side he's on. He's on the hate Daniel Jones side, which is like,
Welcome
it's
to my
time for
island.
that guy to go. It's time for that guy to go. There's no nice way to put it. It's time for him to go.
Well,
Show
the
him
thing is,
the door, please.
I want to say this, okay? For 3 years, I've been on this island. For 3 years, I've been kicked in and out of fan bases, like Mac has said. People have threatened me, done things, said shit, kicked me off groups, whatever, because I stood by my convictions. When I told you what I did, people didn't want to go back and do it. I did the research. I did the work. I didn't sit there and just say on the couch, Daniel Jones sucks. No, I went back and I researched and I watched every game in 2021, and then I rewatched every game in 2022, and I realized he was the same guy in 2021. And I didn't want to buy into the fool's gold in 2022 because if you go back and watch that Minnesota game and you go back and you watch that Philadelphia game, it's the same quarterback. He's doing the same throws, making the same thing. The only difference is that one team had a better defense and the other one was putrid. And it wasn't that much different in the performance. It really wasn't. He just missed guys. Okay, that's the point. He looked exact. If you could take his little avatar and put that one in Minnesota right over his video in Philadelphia. And I read all his scouting bios to make my own notes. That's what I did. Other people didn't want to believe me. And now they're coming to the island, well, albeit later, too late. Right? I don't care. Welcome to the island. And it's not because I wanted Daniel Jones because he was bad. I wanted a new quarterback because of the games like on Sunday. I've seen too many of the games on Sunday to realize we could have been better. A game like that against Tampa Bay. We played Tampa Bay a few years ago in 2021 or 2020, whatever it was, on Monday Night Football. He had a chance to win the game on a 2-point conversion and underthrew his running back in the backfield in the flat. In the flat. The guy was wide open and he missed it. Okay, so if you're going to come at somebody and tell them that they don't know anything about football or they're not good, go back and study the tape and then come at that person. If you're sitting there saying, I watched the tape, legitimately watch it. Don't just tell me you watched it and then go out there. Legitimately, because I can tell you I legitimately watched it. I went back to a scouting report, had the scouting report on my screen and the TV clicker in one hand. My wife was out doing something, so I had 3 hours to kill. So I said, let me go watch this football game. And I watched every play and I looked at every weakness that he had. And he still does the same shit. And if you think this offense is going to evolve all of a sudden, it's not. He has 2 reads. He goes to Wan'Dale Robinson. He goes to Malik Neighbors. If it's not Malik Neighbors, he goes to Darius Slayton. Those are his 2 guys. He's not going to change. And he hasn't changed. So that's all.
That's exactly what he just said. That's what Daniel Jones does. That's why they say on the 4th, because we for a lot of 4th downs on Sunday night, obviously. And you got all the runs, you know what I mean? Pretty much converted, I think, on the runs, but yet the passes, because they knew what you were going to do. They knew exactly that 1 4th down fell. We threw that pass to Wan'Dale Robinson. You would have thought my man was in the damn huddle. He knew that shit was coming. He absolutely knew that shit was coming. He had to think about it. But like I said, New York Giants, man, they ain't going nowhere with Daniel Jones, man, and it just is what it is. You have to come to terms with that. I feel like, and if you don't want to come to terms with that, that's your prerogative. I can't tell you how to fan, but the Giants ain't going nowhere with Daniel Jones under center, man. It just the writing is has been on the wall, and it's just taking some of us longer to accept that shit. Daniel Jones ain't it, man. That is the number one problem in New York is him. He is the number one problem. He's the
I just
issue.
mentioned I just
He's
mentioned the three
not.
losses.
He's not a difference maker. He's not a difference maker by no means. And that's just and he never will be. At least not in New
But,
York. He won't be.
but Matt,
Like
but Matt,
he's got to. He can go some. What's up?
think about this. Think about this. You said he's not a difference maker. It was 3 plays that changed the game last Sunday night. 3 plays. 3 plays, okay, that a competent quarterback made that our guy has failed to do. All right, that's the difference. That's all. It was and Jalen Hurst has been able to make those 3 plays. We don't. He may not be your favorite quarterback or whatever, but what you can't say that he hasn't made those 3 plays. He did it against Green Bay when they needed a big drive. He did it against the Cleveland when they needed a big drive. He did it when the money mattered. Okay, and our quarterback can. And the one thing that I want to touch on that you said real quick, you said that the defense was in the backfield. Well, if you start to play that way and you don't adjust or you don't have a guy that knows how to adjust, this is only going to get worse because teams are then going to say, well, I don't need to. I can shade a guy this way. I can do that. They're going to adjust to you. They don't care about your deep ball. They do not care about your deep ball. And that's what scares me about this game is because Philadelphia is going to look at the tape and they have enough personnel out there to affect the passer and jump routes. And if they do that, and you're not going to do a slugger route because Daniel Jones, when's the last time you see Daniel Jones do a pump fake? Exactly. Your silence is my answer. My point is, if you're not going to take advantage of these guys that are going to be sitting on your routes, and they know this, and they start to realize, oh shit, he's not going to throw deep. It's good. It's an advantage that you're giving the defense, and you become a liability on the field. That is what I told you people last time. I told you people this season. I told you people last season. You become a liability on the field. Daniel Jones is a liability on the field. He's holding the offense back because he doesn't have the run game that he needs to be successful, and he doesn't know how to read a defense to be successful. Okay. And those are the reasons why. And it's not about hating Daniel Jones. It's about wanting to get better at the most important position on the field. And I hope that Sunday's game against the Bengals and maybe this week will show you that. If Jalen Hurts has gotten over the fumble issues and those issues and he plays a clean game like he did, and our quarterback throws 40 times for 200, the guy threw for 40 times and only had 205 yards. 40 times and you had 205 yards. Do you know how ridiculous that sounds? You had 205 yards on 40 passing attempts.
That's what he had. That's what he had. That's the New York Giant quarterback right now. But look, it's been a great show. Definitely appreciate y'all, everybody tuning in, man. Keeping the chat popping. Appreciate you, Adam, man. It's been another great show, man. Another great edition of the Real Deal NFC East Round-Up. We will be back with y'all next Wednesday, same time, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I know what I just said about the New York Giants and the Eagles game, and I picked the Eagles to win because it's just my gut is just telling me to go that way. But I hate the fucking Philadelphia Eagles, and nothing would make me happier than the New York Giants getting a W on Sunday against this team that I hate more than any other team in the entire NFL. So let's go, Big Blue, man. Hopefully y'all can get y'all shit together, man. Get to see Malik Neighbors back in the lineup. Daniel Jones, you don't got to throw the ball to him 20 times unless he's like wide open 20 times. Okay, I'm just saying. But
he has got nobody else.
But we will be back next week, man. Appreciate y'all once again, everybody. Please make sure y'all go to my channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up. Go to Adam's channel and do the same thing. Hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, man. Keep helping our channels grow, man. Supporting the movement. Definitely support the Hardcore Sports Network as well, man. Those guys, a whole bunch of great guys, content creators, putting in great work, man. Covering all aspects of the sports world, everything you can imagine, man. So definitely go to the Hardcore Sports Network and sub up and continue to support the Hardcore Sports Network as well, man. And once again, definitely appreciate y'all. I'm Mac the Giants fan. This is my guy, super dope co-host Adam Costas. We'll see y'all next Wednesday, man. Pay! I'd like to thank you all for listening. If you was feeling this, please take time to subscribe and smack them likes. Feel free to drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to ring that bell so you know when I'm dropping new content. It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Mac the Giants fan. That's MacDa Giants fan.